Hi guys, this is the Viperstealth, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about the raid. So I realised that the raid has been out for quite a long time and I've not put together a video on tips and tricks on how to complete it and what you need to do to get out the other side successfully. So in this video I'm going to cover some general tips for completing the raid. I'm going to give you an example build that I used to complete the raid, and lastly I'm going to show you my unedited clean run of Razorback, the final boss. So if you find this video useful, let me know, give me a like. If you've got anything to add or any questions, let me know in the comments. But as always, let's get straight into it. So firstly, with the raid, the important thing is I'd say 5 things. You've got to know the meta, you've got to know what you need to do on each boss. This is really important because once you know the meta, it becomes a lot more straightforward and a lot more simple, and your team's working towards the common goal. The second thing is having a session at the end of each failed round where you dedicate some time to some concise feedback, where you basically shared what went wrong in the run and you tweak and adjust. Some people don't like this, they see it as arguing. It's not arguing, you just want to spend like 30 seconds just saying, right guys, what do we think happened last time, and then just adjust to just make sure that each attempt is getting you a little bit closer to completing the objective. Next up is communication, and this is key. I found that I've been in the raid a lot with a lot of teams, and there's a lot of people out there that just like to talk for the sake of talking. You've got to keep quiet on the communications, only say what is important to the team. Like for example, don't triple your call outs, like he's over here, he's over here, he's over here. That's pointless. Just say it once, clearly, calmly and concisely. He's over here, and in that way everyone else can hear. Typically don't answer to confirm things, you only voice up when you don't understand something. If everyone's silent, then everyone understands. And also make sure that you're letting people know critical things that you're doing. So you know, throughout the whole meta there's various things that needs to be done, like laptops on Boomer. You want to call out which laptops they are, nice and clear communications, nothing rushed. It makes it a lot easier. Next up is having a good build. You want to balance being tanky and fraggy. So a good indication is about 900,000 in the DPS shooting range, or just making sure that you're melting elites. We'll go over that a bit more later in the video. But you also want to be quite tanky, so anything kind of over 300,000 armor, you know, preferably 350,000 plus, is good enough to survive some of the nasty damage that the elites dish out in the raid. And lastly, you've got to get some good fighting skills, because even if you've got good communication, you know the meta, you've got a good build, sometimes people just aren't that aggressive with their build. So a good way to practice this is against people. So just head into the dark zone, head into conflict, just see what it's like fragging people that have good skills, you know, because the raid will test you. So improve your fighting skills by practicing there. So those are some general tips. You want to make sure that you're taking as many of those tips as possible to help you complete the raid. But now let's head into an example build that I've built for the raid. And here we go. It is a 387 build. It could be 377. That's fine. But what I'm doing here is basically I'm working between 2 things. I'm stacking damage to elite, and I've also got a few other nasty features that I'll talk you through. So let's firstly go through the guns. Not essential, but there is some logic to them. So on the guns, the third ability is active all the time. So stop, drop and roll is active all the time. On the assault rifle, rooted is active even if I'm not using the assault rifle, and on the shotgun, recharged is active even if I'm not using the shotgun in my hands at the moment. It just needs to be equipped. So all 3 talents work at the same time. So I've got stop, drop and roll, I've got rooted, and I've got recharged. So those are 3 useful things. I'll explain why. So recharged gives you 25% more duration for skills, which is really useful seeing as I've got a chem launcher. And outgoing healing does more healing to your teammates than it does to incoming healing to yourself. So I use the chem launcher to heal my teammates, and if I do that at full health, it gives them 25% more duration, so it's great for the raid. The assault rifle is brilliant for a couple of things. Optimist is a fantastic talent to have on the gun, so you do a lot more damage when your magazine's emptying, and also root is really useful, just making sure that you're doing more skill damage and healing. So healing buff for 25% extra for 10 seconds. So when I get into cover, if I'm at full health and I pop a chem towards my teammate, they're going to be full health very, very quickly. And of course, the assault rifle has got a bonus of 29% extra health damage. So once you strip the enemy's armor, it's a good idea maybe to switch to the assault rifle and finish them off with that, because you get a damaged health bonus. And then the LMG, I love LMGs. They hit really hard, and you know they got bullets for days. So it's a really useful gun to take into the raid. I've got a hinge, so it does a lot more damage, and also stop, drop, and roll. So if I'm on fire or anything, I just one quick roll and I'm absolutely fine. But that's what I've got there. Do make sure that you spec into damage to elites where possible. So you can see my long optics rail has got 8% damage to elites, and then my muzzle slot has got 5% damage to elites. It's a similar story on my assault rifle. You've got damage to elites and muzzle slot, and damage to elites on the hollow sight. So make sure that you can spec even more into damage to elites there. But those are the weapons. Now moving on to the gear, there's nothing really kind of too complicated here. It's really just about finding the pieces. But I've gone for a 3, 8, 7 here. You need to get basically 3, 7 blues or more, 3 reds or less, 7 blues or more, and 7 yellows or more. And the reason why is the following. So let's start with 3 red. The reason why we need to get 3 red is because we want to qualify for compensated, which gives you 15% more damage when your critical hit chance is below 20%. So if your critical hit chance is really bad, that's a great thing. As long as you've got under 3 reds, then you're hitting a lot harder. I've got a 9% LMG damage as an attribute. I can't get any higher because this piece is already recalibrated to 100%, but I can find a better piece that doesn't have hazard protection, then I can get that up to 12% LMG damage. So this build isn't completely optimized, but it gives you an idea of what I'm going for. The second thing is the blue. So 8 blues I've got, you need 7, and the reason why you need 7 is for this ability, Unstoppable Force. So killing an enemy grants 2% weapon damage for every 25,000 armor. So I've got almost 400,000 armor, so I'm getting 15% extra weapon damage after I kill an enemy for a short duration of time. And that extra 15% is absolutely fantastic, helps me, melt the enemies even more. And then lastly, 7 yellow. The reason why we're going for 7 yellow is we want to qualify for on the ropes. So on the ropes, weapon damage is increased by 25% when all skills are on cooldown. For me, it's very easy. I use the pulse scanner. I intentionally do not use any abilities on it because I don't want it to be, cooled down quicker. I don't want the effect duration to be longer because I want it to be on cooldown as much as possible. And then I just drop 1 chem, and that procs on the ropes. So these 2 skills are very good to use with on the ropes because they proc on the ropes very quickly. You want on the ropes to be active as long as possible. So if you've got pulse ready, it's cooled down and there are no enemies, you still want to use it because you get more weapon damage all the time. So that's my recommendation with that. A lot of people were saying to me, like, why haven't you got damage to elites on the bag? Well, let's cover it now, seeing as we're talking about it. I've got so much armor through this piece through having, almost 10,000 armor attribute, 18.5% total armor, and also hardened 10% armor, that this extra armor is helping my unstoppable vest talent by giving me more weapon damage there. So yes, I maybe could swap out hardened for damage to elites, but I need to find a piece that has really good armor, like 10,000 armor and 18.5% armor. I have got a utility system electronics skill mod slot there for the chem launcher, 287 skill power for that. That just enables me to get a really nice 52% heal on my chem launcher to help keep my teammates up and keep me healthy. Let's backtrack to the mask. So mask is very useful because they roll really high for damage to elites. I believe it goes up to and past 50%, but I've got 43% damage to elites here. It's also got hard hitting on, which is 10% damage to elites. So I do a lot more damage to elites just on my mask alone. So make sure you do pick yourself up a really good mask. That'll get you well on your way to hitting the raid really hard. Moving on to the vest, as you saw earlier on, it is a Fenris vest that gives me 10% assault rifle damage, and they also come with 2 talents. So you can find a talent that suits you well for the raid, like Unstoppable Force or Unbreakable. I would recommend Unstoppable Force, and hard hitting, which is really useful for the raid. I've got a armor slot for extra armor and percentage armor, which helps. And also, if you look at this, I've got 30% total armor, which is really, really nice on top of the 19,000 armor that I've already got. So this is a really good armor piece, and it plays into Unstoppable Force really well. So do pick up a Fenris vest if you can do that because of their double talents. Down to the holster, so you'll notice that my health is quite low. It's 27,000, so if I lose my armor, I'm pretty screwed, so I do have to keep an eye on that. But the reason why I've sacrificed so much health is because I normally use this bad boy, which gives me significantly more health, but unfortunately that disqualifies me from being able to use on the ropes, so it's not worth the trade-off. I've gone for a Petrov for the 10% extra LMG damage here, and I've just bumped up some skill power to enable me to get extra chem launcher healing. So nothing really too special about the holster, just LMG damage and the chem launcher skills. We've already covered the bag, so don't need to cover that in detail. I think just another nod to the chem launcher mod there, just to bump that up. And then moving on to the gloves, we briefly covered this earlier on, but yeah, just look for an attribute that goes up to 12% of whatever weapon you're using, either the LMG or the assault rifle. I've gone for Gila, so it gives me 5% more total armor, and compensated with another utility mod slot. Notice again, I've spec'd into chem launcher skill power, just to get me that really good healing. And then lastly, but not least important, it is my knees. So the knees, I've gone for overlord armaments. It does rifle damage, it's completely useless, but we've got attributes of 11,000 armor, almost 12,000, and also hard hitting. So what I'm waiting for is an attribute that does higher armor to take me into 400,000 plus, which will help my unstoppable force, give me more damage there. But if I scroll down, you see the offensive mod slot of 6% extra LMG damage, so that definitely stacks up again. My skills, I've already covered those, but what I'm going to do now is just take you to the stats page to show you what I'm working with here. So if I scroll down to the offense, you can see that all weapons damage is 21%. So whatever damage I'm doing an extra 21% on top of that. So if I'm using my LMG, I've got 39% damage there, and I've got an extra 21% through all weapons. So that's 60% weapon damage if I'm using an LMG. If I'm using an assault rifle, I've got 25% weapon damage, and I add another 21% to that to make 46% weapon damage for the assault rifles. If you look down a little bit for the damage to elites, I've got 86%, which isn't bad. It's pretty high. It's good enough to melt elites in the raid. So 86% extra damage to elites on top of potentially 60% LMG damage. That is good enough for the raid. You're absolutely fine working with that, and with the armor being at just shy of 400,000, you've got enough armor to keep going. Make sure you do have something in your loadout that allows you to heal, because if you don't have that, you're going to need to use med packs, and you only get 2 med packs per run. So, or is it 1? I can't remember, but you get limited med packs per raid run, so it always makes sense to take some healing in with you, so you don't need to rely on burning through those med packs. So that is my loadout. I hope you enjoyed me walking through that. So now I'm going to show you the area of effect shooting range. I've got this on very hard. So as I mentioned to you a second ago, you want to proc on the ropes as much as possible. So I'm going to use the pulse scanner there. It's got to burn out. It does highlight the enemies, which is nice, but as soon as it burns out, that's good. I'm going to reload my LMG, make sure I've got full ammo. And you just want to drop those cams. There we go. So you can see how quickly these targets are melting. Excuse my accuracy, I'm a PS4 player, not a mouse and keyboard player. So it's pretty fast, like 8.5 seconds TTK on very hard. Maybe you guys can use this as a benchmark. I've got this down to 6 seconds TTK on very hard. So if you're getting between 6 and 9 seconds, you know that you're probably raid ready. I've also used this shooting range for DPS on elite, and I'm typically getting about 900,000 or 800,000 there. So those are the kind of numbers that you want to work with in the shooting range. But the shooting range isn't everything. Just take it into a raid and see how you get on. So coming up now is unedited footage of Razorback, but yeah, if you've got any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section. Please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video. But this has been the Viperstealth. Enjoy the video. Thank you.
It's okay, man. You're good. 2 drones. Oh, I'm dogging between 3 and 4. Purple. Now he's over by. Okay. Watch for a big boy. Whoa. Get that dog out. Between 3 and 4. Blue's at 1. Yes, man, turn around. Yes, man, turn around.
I need to get that. I'm not behind my plate. I'm trying to get ammo.
Okay.
Alright, I'm good.
3, 2, 1. Generators, get in. He's good. Don't worry about it.
I'm like 40% behind you guys. Let's step off for a second.
Immediate
Alright,
medical
let's do an ad
assistance
run.
needed.
Alright.
Ah, shit.
Down.
Okay. Careful, ammo.
Set them up
Coming.
before he dies. Pick your partner up.
Yeah.
Coming over there to help you guys.
Make sure you rev me from in cover. Take less damage.
I needed to reload apparently.
Just switch weapon when it starts doing that.
Good.
Oh yeah.
It's much faster. Cheers, man.
Ammo up and shit.
Boomer 2.
Full my food.
He's dead.
Alright, generators in 3, 2, 1, get in. Got a dog at 4. Yes, man, dog at 4. Take that dog out. I got it, yes, man, don't worry about it. Good shit. Last bow. Drone. Good shit, the dog. Got his stage? Critical systems exposed. Damn it. Good drone.
Critical systems compromised.
Nice, two boomer. Run back to your spot, you got time. Get ammo.
I'm lagging, I'm still lagging. I'm lagging again.
1. 4. 1, yes man.
Helping up
4's about to go down. 1's down. 4's down. 4's down. Alright, generators in 3, 2, 1, get in.
I'm gonna die.
An agent needs assistance.
I'm getting myself up,
I got you.
Appreciate that, hitter. That motherfucker was harassing me.
You're good.
Big boy, I don't have bow.
Alright,
We're gonna have to
we'll
shoot
shoot
the
it
middle
out.
out. Stay in there in the backside when you set up. Right, I got a grenade. Grenade in. Keep going.
Bro, there are ads everywhere.
Yeah. Maybe you should do an ad run after this just to be sure. Drone.
Bro, the damage we just did on those scripts is kind of critical right now.
Back to spot.
God damn.
Chunk is at 2.
4. Should be good.
2.
I hope so, because I got an ad on my ass.
2.
I got it, good boy. I got it. Don't worry about it. Help out 2. 3 help out
Oh, we're good.
2. Got him. Good.
Bitch ass.
Maybe. What the fuck?
Do an ad run, yo.
Go in.
There's a lot of ads. No, there's a lot of ads over here. Plus he's delayed in here.
Nah, you right. There's a lot of ads.
Yes, man, take cover, bro. Don't stand in open. Aces is up. Fucking crossbow.
I'm lagging again, man.
Just help out
Alright,
three with
man.
the beam guys. We'll back you up any chance we get. Don't worry about it. We can do this.
I'm still like 15 seconds behind, so this is good. This is manageable.
Alright, I'm getting crossbow. I got crossbow. Jesus. Man.
4. I got him. We're good.
2, we're good.
Alright. Save my generators.
2. Yeah, Boomer 2. Boomer dead on 2.
2's down.
Alright.
4's down. 4's down.
2, 1. Generator. Get in.
Oh shit. What? Okay,
Roll on in. 2 drones.
God damn it, I got electrocuted. And blown up.
Mm-hmm.
These motherfuckers are not wanting me to get to this crib. Alright, should be damaged this time, guys. No excuses. Oh, man. Damage. Come on, guys. Come on.
Wipe that shit down. Good job.
Alright, that's pretty good.
Alright. Back to the spot. Watch the beamers. Should be 2.
Damn it!
Help him
Don't
out.
trip, bro.
good.
Good. He's coming back up.
Boomer at 3
Boomer on 4. 4.
and
We're
3.
in tight. We're in a tight spot, guys. We're in a tight spot.
Help out.
So,
4. Everybody go to 4. Everybody go to 4. Everybody go to 4.
3 dead.
They won't even let me fucking.
Cover.
We got him. We got him. I'm down. I'm down.
Add run.
Okay,
Add run.
we hear ya.
Help out. Help out. Help out. Add run. Add run.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Let's keep these callouts calm.
Wow, you guys covered my ass.
This is what we're supposed to do, man. We gotta flex. We gotta flex when needed.
I'm like 15, 20 seconds behind.
It's all good. It's all good. Just focus, do what you can. Just call out if you need help.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Call out if you need assistance.
I'm good on both. They were
If I get Eagle, I'm gonna get to you, man.
Love you, bro.
Because you're my boy.
Yeah, I'm good on grenades. I didn't think it was that funny that I have to grenades, but alright.
Yeah, same.
Reds are out. Let's forget about everything else. Focus what we gotta do, boys.
The AI out.
4, we're good. We're good on 4.
2,
I'll tell you when you
2.
work. We're Gucci over here.
How you guys doing on 2? You guys good?
We'll be
2,
down.
Boomer. 2, Boomer dead.
Alright, they're down.
Alright, 3, 2, 1. Generators, get in.
There is so many ads still been passed.
Yo, why did I just get both of 3's ads? Come on, man.
Kill it, hey boys, kill it. We're at 80%. Low ready. Shoot drone, shoot drone, shoot drone, shoot drone, shoot drone.
Alright, I'm here now. We're gonna fuck this up. This should be it, guys. Come on, knock them down.
Shoot the drone, shoot the drone.
Come on, knock them down, guys. Knock them down, knock them down. Come on, get that right one, get that right one. Almost. Not quite.
That's fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Keep going together.
Sorry as hell. Yes, it is.
Just clear it. You got it. Finish me too.
I'm gonna restock that again.
Big guy. 4 minutes.
Boomer
We're
at
good.
3. Boomer at 3.
4 and we're good. 2 help up 3. 2 help up 3. Yo, Kissman, you gotta move, bro. Dog. Hit the dog. Hit the dog. Down. Kissman, hit the dog. Wow.
Alright, 3's down, 3's down.
Right. Get in, get in. Generators in 3, 2, 1, get in. You got a dog between 1 and 2. Help out the can, dog.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to.
Yeah, you need a candy? Got a dog. Almost done, buddy. I'm almost done, okay? Both going in. 2 drones. Alright, this is it, guys. Remember, get back to your panel. Don't make the thing. Drop that panel. Damn it. Go back up to your screen. Wait 1 minute, buddy. Go back. Don't shoot
Follow me back.
unless they're
Guessman, back
flashing.
to 1. Guessman. Guessman. Guessman, back to 1. Guessman. Guessman.
How you, Steven?
Just call out if you need an assist.
Call out if you need an assist. Stay right here, stay right here. Stay right here. Get this.
No, no, not yet. Wait, wait, Guessman, wait.
Shoot screen down, shoot screen down.
Thank you. I'll tell you what, Guessman.
3, 3, 3.
4's down.
3.
Get ready, Guessman. Get ready. Hold on. I'll tell you what now.
3 down. 3 down.
Guessman, shoot it. Guessman, shoot it. Alright, you're good. 1's dead. Boom! Completion number 1 for Guessman.
Die, motherfucker.
Go, boys.
Yo, I'm sorry for screaming, man, but I saw my homie running all the way back over here. I'm like, yo! Sorry, I had to scream. I apologize.
Nice, man.
I
GG.
just didn't want it to fucking for us to fail for something stupid like that. So I apologize for screaming. Alright, here we go, baby.